Have you ever wondered why there's such a big gap between learning something and then actually applying it? The chasm between knowledge acquisition and behaviour change is colossal, and this is a puzzle that has stumped educators and experienced designers throughout the ages. So, what can we do about it? I'm Harry from Growth Engineering, and today we are going to be talking about a framework that can help to crack this code. This is the Fogg Behavioral Model, which I think is one of the simplest and most easily applicable models of its kind. So if you're looking to turn theory into action, then this is definitely the video for you. So who's the brains behind this model? Well, BJ Fogg is an American behavioral scientist and a professor at Stanford University. You may have heard of his book, Tiny Habits, which offers lots of practical real-world advice for building new habits. He's spent 25 years figuring out why we're all so wonderfully, predictably lazy or human, and he's turned that into the model that we'll be discussing today. Fogg's framework suggests that for any behavior to happen, whether that's quitting smoking, going to the gym, or simply completing your compliance training, three things need to come together at the same time. They're motivation, which is your desire to do the behavior, ability, which is how easy that behavior is to do, and a prompt, which is the cue that tells you to do it. This is all summed up neatly with a simple equation. Behavior equals motivation plus ability plus a prompt, or B equals MAP. Motivation and ability have a compensatory relationship. In other words, if motivation is high, you may well do something even if it's hard. Fogg also says there are three different dimensions of motivation, each with a positive and a negative attribute. First, for example, there's sensation. We are motivated to seek physical pleasure and avoid physical pain. We like to eat cake because it tastes good, and we avoid stepping on garden rakes because we know it's going to hurt. Next, there's anticipation. We are creatures that are driven by hope and fear. For instance, we might study hard because we hope to get a good grade, and likewise we may procrastinate due to a fear of failing. Finally, there's our sense of belonging. We crave acceptance and we avoid rejection. It's why we all went through that questionable fashion phase in school, and why we avoid speaking out if we think it's going to lead to us being judged or ostracized. Next up is the second element of Fogg's model, ability. Now, Fogg argues that making a behavior easier is often more efficient than trying to pump up motivation. He also breaks this down into 6 different factors. First, there's the time it takes to do something. It's easier to read a summary than it is to read a whole book. Then there's the cost of doing something. A free download is easier to engage with than a $100 course. Next, there's the physical effort associated with the action. A walk in a park is a lot easier than a 10k sprint. Following this, we have mental effort. We prefer things that are easier to process, like a simple infographic, rather than endlessly wordy guidebooks. Then there's social deviance. It's much easier to agree with the group than disagreeing and potentially causing controversy. And finally, we have non-routine. If something falls outside of our daily routine, then it is a lot less likely to get done. The last element of Fogg's model are the prompts that trigger us to act. Even if both motivation and ability are high, a prompt is still necessary to drive behavior change. Here, Fogg identifies 3 different types of prompt. Firstly, spark prompts are for when motivation is low, but ability is high. This is like sharing a limited time offer or highlighting that stock for a particular item is running out. Next, facilitator prompts are for when motivation is high, but ability is low. This is like providing a pre-filled form to help make an application easier. And finally, signal prompts are for when both motivation and ability are high. They basically act as simple reminders or gentle nudges. Remember, timing for all these prompts are key. They need to hit us precisely when we're ready to take action. Now, the Fogg model isn't perfect. Motivation is a complex beast. I mean, if it was simple, we'd all have 6-pack abs and be fluent in about 5 different languages. For instance, things like intrinsic motivation, self-belief, and cultural values all play a massive role in determining our actions. However, Fogg's framework does provide us with a simple and action-oriented way to understand behaviour change. And for that reason alone, it is well worth adding to your theory toolbox. Okay, that's everything I've got for you today. Thank you very much for watching, and we'll see you in the next one. Goodbye.